Hey everyone, Cesar Pineda here, Farmers Insurance Agent in South Norwalk, Connecticut. Today again working from home in Ridgefield. I am joined today by my lovely wife May Pineda, who happens to work in the healthcare industry, and today she's going to be trying to give us some insight for most of us who are, we have a glimpse of what's going on, but we don't really know behind closed doors what is really the situation. She's going to try to give us some tips and just some up-to-date information as far as we can give you, of course. So hi May, thank you for joining me in this video today. If you want to introduce yourself to the people that don't already know you.
Hi guys, my name is May. I'm his wife. I'm also a
Allegedly.
healthcare. I also been in the healthcare industry for about 8 years now, and yeah.
So again, we want to talk about everything that's going on. Your experience has been very unique in the sense that you've actually been aware of this for a very long time, like so long that she had to convince me of how serious this was. I was also guilty of being one of those people that is basically downplaying it every step of the way, saying, it's basically just a flu, as long as you don't shake hands, or if you do elbows, it's fine. And here we are today, right? So me being the first to admit that I was, very blind to the real issue that we're dealing with today, and that there probably could have been things that I myself could have done beforehand to make it better. But, we do what we do and we do what we can. So if you want to just tell us, first of all, what was your experience with this whole thing? I mean, you were researching it since it happened in China, and you were up to date on all the, the information coming out of China and the lack thereof, because they were, not disclosing all this information. But tell me about your experience with this.
So my friend and I, my good friend and I, have been really on top of this because I'm from Philippines and my grandma is still in the Philippines. So knowing that it was in Wuhan, China, and then it would spread to South Korea, and then all of a sudden the first death outside of China was in Philippines, anxiety shoots up immediately, and that was like back in January, early January. And I was telling him, like, I think we need to start getting masks and start like thinking about this, like this is gonna be serious. And I remember him saying is like, I remember a night where he actually had to like tell me, like, you need to stop thinking about this all the time, because it is very tiring.
Yeah, even now, I mean, for people who are watching 24-hour news cycles 24 hours a day, now that you're at home, it's really not healthy. I mean, I'm the first to say that you should be as well informed as possible, but you have to give your brain a break, and you just have to focus on the good stuff for a bit. If you're luckily with your family, and appreciate that you're all healthy, and just acknowledge that it could be a lot worse. So yeah, I mean,
hindsight is 20/20, right? So I think the frustration there was on my end personally is there have been a lot of people who've been saying this could be a potential big thing, and even when the WHO announced that this is which is the World Health Organization, announced that WHO, stop it.
That's pretty stupid.
You're so stupid. When the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, said that this is a global pandemic, and a lot of people, who aren't touched by it yet, were saying, this is an overreaction, and this is not going to happen to me. But I hope it opens the eyes of people to kind of self-reflect on themselves, that if you are the type of person who only takes things such as a global pandemic serious just because you yourself has been affected, or someone who's been affected, it's like
part of the issue.
Yeah. And it's not, I know, to my close friends and my coworkers, they know that I'm a very emotional, and I always think of the problems of the world in my head, and that's what we talk about. But it's very disheartening to see what I see, especially earlier when you were out and you see people eating outside, congregating.
So for you, your job is very difficult as it is. how has this changed your job, your life? How has this changed your outlook on, your job and healthcare in general?
It's like a very, very, very deep question, right?
Yeah.
So I've had a conversation with my family members. I'm starting to tear up just thinking about it, but
Okay.
it's okay. My mom my mom's a nurse, and she works in the ICU unit. My dad is a dialysis technician, and my aunt in New Jersey is a nurse practitioner, and that's from my aunt from my mom's side is she's a nurse practitioner. Then my aunt from my dad's side, she's a physical therapist in Long Island. Then my really is like my grandma kind of, but my dad's aunt, but I call her my aunt too. She works as a nurse in the VA in Massachusetts. So it's heavy, I'm sure, for a lot of people too, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who has family members who work in the healthcare industry, and it's hard because even my mom is like so strong, because I would ask her like, how are you holding up, and she's like, I'm fine, like it's I'm there, you do what you're supposed to do, I work with great people, we help each other out with the PPE. But it's just so sad to see people dying, and how quick a shift goes, and how you go out of the hospital and there's a park and you see people playing soccer, playing tennis, who are going, walking together, and it's like she gets annoyed because of it, obviously. It's tough. My dad himself, when we were talking, he was talking about it, and he was like, I gotta be honest with you, I was one of those people too, again, who didn't think this was gonna be serious. From 1 week, not even the beginning of the week to the end of the week, how quick the floor got filled with patients, and he sees patients who are his age. And my dad, he's supposed to turn 50 this year, and he was talking about arranging his will, and that's not something you want to talk about your parents, and he's so young. But he was like, that's really the practicality of it, because they work in healthcare, and same thing with my aunt in New Jersey. It's like,
Stuff. So as you can see, this is a deeply personal issue for us, as it is for many people. We have a lot of people who are dealing with this directly head on. For those of you who don't, it's not your fault. You're not responsible for not being in somebody else's shoes, but you do have the responsibility of taking care of those people who are taking care of your loved ones. You see a lot more than we do, right? What are some of the things that are maybe misconceptions about what's happening right now?
So one of the things that had the CDC of the United States have said is that only sick people should wear masks. I was asked by the gas station clerk if I was sick, because that's what they told me, and I was like, no, I work in healthcare, and I said it's my personal belief that everyone should be wearing masks. That's what I hear all the time is the PPE, the shortages of PPE right now. Like even with the hospital I work in, we're being very conservative about the usage of it, and it's to the point where the recommended use of the surgical mask is, one use only, and yet here we are using it, in the hallways for maybe a week.
So what would you say to the people who suggest that this only affects the elderly?
Have you been to the doctor lately? I think that's the first question that I would ask. Because how would you know if you have an underlying condition? It's a very selfish way of thinking, and that's not the case. You know, it's everyone gets affected by this. The case is that it's older people who will have a harder chance fighting it. That doesn't mean that young people are not going to be affected by it. There are numerous cases around the world of young people getting it, or you know, and not even showing the full symptoms. Like there was a girl from France who her only symptoms was coughing, and she passed away and she was 14. We're not invisible, especially the guys. For some reason, this virus targets men. Not everyone has insurance. Not everyone has time to go to the doctor. It's not, it doesn't seem to be a thing for a lot of people to go to the doctor. That's why when I say that, have you been to the doctor lately, which is, I feel like it's scarier because you don't even know you're having.
Yeah.